The sky turned black over Washington, D.C. as the massive ships blocked out the sun. Commander Eric Russell stood frozen at the window of the North American Defense Coalition headquarters. His coffee mug slipped from his fingers and shattered on the floor, but he barely noticed. 23 alien vessels had appeared without warning. They were each the size of a small city. "Status report," he demanded, finally finding his voice. "Sir, they're in stationary orbit. No response to communications. All our systems are operational, but radar is showing strange interference patterns," said Lieutenant Alan Davis, his face pale as he looked up from his station. The room buzzed with controlled panic as military personnel rushed between stations. Screens displayed the massive ships from various satellite feeds. They were angular and metallic with what looked like spines protruding from their hulls. The design was unlike anything humans had created, aggressive and alien in every sense. "Get me the president," Eric said. Before anyone could respond, every screen in the command center flickered. Television broadcasts, computer monitors, even cell phones all showed the same image. A reptilian face with scaled skin, vertical pupils, and rows of sharp teeth. "People of Earth." The creature spoke in perfect English. "I am High Marshal Vexthor of the Draconian Imperial Fleet. Your planet now falls under our jurisdiction. You have 72 hours to surrender all governmental authority and military capability. Resistance is futile. To demonstrate our power..." The image switched to a live feed of a small uninhabited island in the Pacific. A beam of light shot down from one of the ships. When it vanished, the island was simply gone. No explosion, no debris, just empty ocean where land had been moments before. "This is but a fraction of our capability," Vexthor continued. "Choose wisely. 72 hours. The screens returned to normal, leaving the command center in stunned silence. "Get me every world leader on a secure line," Eric ordered. "And find me something, anything, we can use against these things." In a small research facility nestled among the mountains of Montana, Dr. Allison Bennett rubbed her tired eyes. The quantum resonance detector had been giving strange readings all morning. At first she thought it was a malfunction, but the patterns were too consistent. "Peter, can you look at this?" she called to her colleague. Dr. Peter Garrison walked over from his workstation. His normally neat appearance was disheveled after working through the night on their dark matter detection project. "What am I looking at?" he asked, leaning over her shoulder. "These spikes started about 3 hours ago. I thought it was equipment failure, but look at the consistency in the wave patterns." Peter adjusted his glasses. "That's not natural, too regular." The facility door burst open, and their research assistant, Greg Nelson, rushed in. "Turn on the news now." They switched on the small television in the break room just in time to see the replay of the Draconian message. Allison felt her stomach drop as she watched the island vanish. "That's impossible," Peter whispered. Allison wasn't listening. Her mind was racing back to the strange readings. "When did they say the ships appeared?" "About 3 hours ago," Greg said. She ran back to her computer and pulled up the timeline of anomalies. The reading started exactly when they arrived. "Peter, these ships are giving off quantum resonance signatures unlike anything we've ever recorded." Peter's eyes widened with understanding. "Our detector wasn't malfunctioning, it was picking up their technology." Allison nodded. "And look at this pattern, the signature changes whenever they move or use their weapons." She pointed to a spike that occurred at the exact time the island was destroyed. "We need to call someone," Peter said. "Who would believe us? We're a small research team that's supposed to be studying dark matter, not alien technology." The facility. Phone rang, making them all jump. Greg answered it, his expression changing from confusion to surprise. "Dr. Bennett, it's for you. They say it's the Department of Defense." Major Samantha Collins hated flying. The military helicopter swayed in the wind as it approached the Montana facility. She reviewed the briefing one more time. A small research team had potentially detected a vulnerability in the alien ships. It was a long shot, but right now, long shots were all they had. 5 minutes, Major," the pilot called back. Sam nodded and looked at the two specialists accompanying her. Communications expert Kevin Wright was typing furiously on his laptop, while engineer Lisa Martinez stared out the window, lost in thought. Either. Have you believed in aliens before today? Sam asked. Theoretically, yes, Kevin replied without looking up. Practically, I preferred when they were just theoretical. Lisa smiled grimly. I built missile defense systems for 6 years. Nothing I ever designed could stop what those ships did to that island. The helicopter landed on a small pad near the research facility. A woman with short brown hair was waiting for them, hunched against the wind from the rotors. Dr. Bennett? Sam asked as they approached. Yes. You must be Major Collins. Please come inside quickly. We've made some new discoveries since we called. The inside of the facility was modest, just a few labs and offices. Dr. Bennett led them to a room filled with complex equipment surrounding a central device that looked like a satellite dish pointed at the ceiling. This is our quantum resonance detector, Allison explained. It was designed to detect the subtle vibrations of dark matter particles, but instead, it's been going crazy since the Draconians arrived. She showed them the data on a large monitor. Their ships generate a specific quantum field. We believe it's related to their propulsion system, possibly their weapons too. How does this help us? Sam asked. Peter stepped forward. Every system has a resonant frequency, a point where applied vibration can cause disruption or even destruction. Think of an opera singer shattering a glass with just her voice. You think you can shatter alien spaceships with sound? Kevin asked skeptically. Not sound, Allison corrected. Quantum resonance pulses. If we can generate the right counter-frequency, we might be able to disrupt their systems. Might? Lisa asked. It's theoretical. We've never tested anything like this. Sam considered the information. What would you need to test it? Ideally, a piece of their technology, Peter said. Sam's phone buzzed. A text message from command. Draconian scout ships have begun landing across the globe, establishing outposts. Casualties reported. Well, Sam said grimly, it looks like their technology might be coming to us. Pack what you need. We're relocating you to a secure facility. As they prepared to leave, Allison watched the quantum detector's readings spike again, somewhere above them. Beyond the blue sky, the Draconian fleet was on the move. Humanity had less than 72 hours to find a way to survive. In Houston, mechanic Jack Powell ducked behind a dumpster as a Draconian scout ship roared overhead. Unlike the massive vessels in orbit, this one was smaller, about the size of a bus. It landed in an empty lot 2 blocks away, its engine sending dust and debris flying in all directions. Jack's heart pounded in his chest. He should run. Any sane person would. Instead, he found himself creeping closer, staying low behind abandoned cars. The ship's hull opened and 3 reptilian soldiers emerged, each nearly 7 feet tall and covered in what appeared to be armored suits. As they moved away to secure the area, Jack noticed something had broken off the ship during landing. A small piece of metal about the size of his hand lay in the street. Without thinking, he darted out, grabbed it, and ran as fast as he could. The piece was warm and vibrated slightly in his hand. He didn't know what he'd do with it, but something told him it might be important. As air raid sirens began to wail across the city, Jack ran toward his truck. The alien technology clutched tightly against his chest. The underground bunker hummed with activity. 48 hours had passed since the Draconian ultimatum and time was running out. Dr. Allison Bennett hadn't slept in over 30 hours. She stared at the alien component through a sealed glass chamber. The piece of technology that Jack Powell had recovered was their first real look at Draconian engineering. Anything? Major Samantha Collins asked, entering the lab. Dark circles under her eyes showed she wasn't sleeping much either. It's like nothing we've ever seen, Allison said. The material doesn't match any known element on Earth, and it's generating the same quantum field signature we detected from their ships, just on a much smaller scale. Peter worked at a computer nearby running simulations. The good news is our theory seems correct. The quantum field fluctuates in predictable patterns. If we can create a counterpulse at precisely the right frequency, we might disrupt their systems. Might isn't good enough, Sam said. We need certainty. In science, there's rarely such a thing as certainty, Allison replied. But this is our best shot. The door opened again and Kevin Wright entered with Jack Powell. The mechanic looked out of place among the military personnel and scientists, but his discovery had earned him a place on the team. How's our guest doing? Sam asked. Nervous but helpful, Kevin said. He's been explaining how he found the component. Turns out he has a background in naval engineering. Jack shrugged. Served 6 years before becoming a mechanic. Never thought I'd be using my skills against space lizards. Allison turned to Jack. You said the piece was vibrating when you picked it up? Yeah, like a cell phone on silent, but stronger. The vibration stopped after about an hour. Allison's eyes widened. That means it was still connected to their network. Peter, what if their ships use quantum entanglement for communication? That would explain the field readings. Peter's fingers flew across the keyboard. If that's true, then disrupting the quantum field wouldn't just disable their systems. It could sever their entire communication network, which would leave them blind and uncoordinated, Sam finished. How do we weaponize this? We need to build a quantum pulse generator, Allison said. But to affect their mothership, we'd need to get close, really close. That's suicide, Lisa Martinez said from her workstation. Their point defense systems would vaporize any approaching aircraft or missile. What about the satellites? Jack suggested. Could we use the ones already in orbit? Kevin looked up from his laptop. Most of our satellites aren't equipped for this kind of modification. But the International Space Station has the new quantum communication array, Peter said. It was installed last month for experimental faster-than-light communication. We could reprogram it. And we have 3 remaining space shuttles in storage since the program officially ended, Sam added. Commander Russell might be able to get one ready for emergency launch. Allison nodded. But we'd still need ground-based pulse generators to create a sufficiently powerful field. One source won't be enough to affect their entire fleet. How many would we need? Sam asked. At least 5 spread across the country, Peter said, and they'd need to be activated simultaneously. I can help build them, Jack offered. If you can provide the specialized components, I can handle the assembly and deployment. We have 52 hours before their deadline, Sam reminded them. Let's get to work. Commander Eric Russell stood in the launch control room at Cape Canaveral. Through the window, he could see the hastily prepared Space Shuttle Endeavour on the launch pad. Are we sure about this? General Frank Howard asked beside him. We're putting a lot of faith in a theory. Do you have a better option, General? Eric replied. Their ships have already landed in 12 major cities. Our conventional weapons barely scratch their scout ships, let alone the mothership. The radio crackled. Launch control. This is Colonel Diane Miller. We're ready for boarding. Eric picked up the microphone. Colonel, you understand the risks of this mission? Completely, sir. My team volunteers with full knowledge. If Dr. Bennett's device doesn't work, at least we go out fighting. Eric nodded, though she couldn't see him. Godspeed, Colonel. Launch sequence initiates in 30 minutes. In a moving truck heading west, Jack Powell carefully secured the 3rd quantum pulse generator. Lisa Martinez sat beside him, monitoring the device on a laptop. How's it looking? He asked. Stable for now, she said. But these power fluctuations worry me. If the generator overheats during activation, it could fail. Or explode, Jack added. Lisa managed a tired smile. I was trying not to say that part out loud. Jack glanced at her bandaged arm, injured during a close encounter with Draconian scouts at their last deployment site. How's the arm? I'll live, she said, as long as the rest of this plan works. The truck radio crackled with Sam's voice. Team 3, status report. Lisa picked up the radio. Generator 3 is stable. We're 3 hours from the Denver deployment site. Copy that. Team 2 has successfully deployed in Chicago. Team 4 is facing resistance in Atlanta. We've diverted additional military support their way. Jack gripped the steering wheel tighter. Do we know if Kevin's team made it to the space station? Shuttle docked successfully 20 minutes ago, Sam replied. They're installing the primary generator now. As they drove west, the sky darkened, with storm clouds. But as Jack looked closer, he realized they weren't clouds at all. Dozens of smaller Draconian ships were descending, spreading out across the landscape. "Lisa, look." She went pale. "They're starting the invasion early. We're out of time." On the International Space Station, Kevin Wright floated beside Colonel Miller as they connected the final components of the quantum pulse generator to the station's power systems. "Connection complete," Kevin said, initiating warm-up sequence. Through the window, they could see Earth below and the massive Draconian mothership hovering above North America. It dwarfed the space station like a whale beside a minnow. Colonel Miller's radio buzzed. "ISS team, this is Commander Russell. The Draconians have begun their invasion ahead of schedule. High Marshal Vex Thor has announced that our time is up. We need another 30 minutes to reach full power," Kevin said. "You don't have 30 minutes. Ground teams report Draconian forces landing in all major cities. Team 4 in Atlanta is offline. We've lost contact." Kevin looked at Colonel Miller. "If we activate now at partial power, the field might not be strong enough. And if we wait, there might not be an Earth left to save," she replied. "Prepare for emergency activation. Alert all remaining ground teams." Back in Montana, Allison and Peter watched their monitors as reports flooded in from around the world. Draconian forces were everywhere, their weapons cutting through Earth's defenses. "Like paper, the resonance field has to work," Peter said. "It's our only hope." Allison's hand hovered over the activation button for their control center. "God help us all," she whispered. Across America, the remaining teams prepared for simultaneous activation. In space, Kevin made the final adjustments. In the moving truck now surrounded by falling Draconian ships, Jack and Lisa raced toward their deployment point. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, dependent on a theory and the courage of a few. The sky above Denver turned orange as Draconian ships descended through the atmosphere. Jack Powell pressed the truck's accelerator to the floor. They had abandoned the highways, now clogged with panicked civilians, and were cutting across open land toward the mountain facility. "How much farther?" Lisa asked, bracing herself against the dashboard as they bounced over rough terrain. 10 minutes if we don't hit anything," Jack said. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Lisa checked the quantum generator in the back. "The power core is getting hot. These things weren't designed to take this kind of punishment." Jack's radio crackled. "Team 3, this is Major Collins. What's your status?" "Still moving," Jack replied. "Denver is swarming with their ships. We're taking the back route to the facility." "Copy that. Team 2 is in position. We've lost contact with Team 4. Team 5 reports they're 5 minutes from their position in San Francisco." A blinding light flashed overhead. A Draconian scout ship had spotted them. It fired, and the ground beside the truck exploded, sending them swerving. "They've seen us," Lisa shouted. Jack yanked the wheel, sending them down a dirt road between trees. "We need cover." The scout ship fired again, closer this time. The truck's rear window shattered. Lisa climbed into the back, shielding the generator with her body. "There," Jack pointed ahead. "The tunnel." An old mining tunnel loomed in the mountainside. Jack aimed straight for it, the truck's engine screaming in protest. The scout ship fired, once more, hitting the ground behind them as they plunged into darkness. "We made it," Lisa breathed. "For now," Jack said, slowing the truck. "But they know we're here. How much farther to the facility?" Lisa checked the GPS. The service entrance should connect to these tunnels, half a mile ahead. Behind them, the yow sound of the scout ship hovering at the tunnel entrance echoed ominously. In Montana, Allison Bennett stared at the monitors showing the positions of the remaining teams. Too many red dots indicated lost communications or worse. "Team 4's generator is offline," Peter said. "Without Atlanta, the eastern resonance field will be weak." "Can we compensate?" Allison asked. "Maybe, if we increase power to the other generators, but that increases the risk of overload." The bunker door opened and Major Collins entered. "The president has been evacuated to a secure location." Military forces are engaged worldwide, but we're taking heavy casualties. What's the status here? Nearly ready, Allison said. But we've lost Atlanta, and Team 3 is having trouble reaching their position. Sam studied the map. If we lose Denver too, the field won't be strong enough. She picked up the radio. Kevin, what's the status up there? On the International Space Station, Kevin floated beside the main generator, making final adjustments. Generator is at 82% power and stable. Colonel Miller has connected it to the station's main array. We can initiate on your command. Stand by, Sam said. We need all ground teams in position first. Kevin looked out the window at Earth below. From space, the invasion looked like a beautiful light show. Flashes of energy as Draconian weapons fired and human defenses responded. He could see the massive mothership adjusting its position, moving over North America. They're preparing for something big, Colonel Miller said, joining him at the window. Intelligence suggests they're positioning for a concentrated attack on our major population centers. How much time do we have? Kevin asked. Minutes, not hours. High Marshal Vexthor stood on the command deck of the Draconian mothership. The invasion was proceeding as planned, despite some unexpected resistance from the primitive humans. Marshal, his second-in-command, approached. Our sensors detect unusual energy readings from several locations on the surface. What kind of readings? Vexthor demanded. Unknown, but they appear to be synchronized, and there's similar activity on the human space station. Vexthor's scaled features contorted in what passed for a frown among his kind. Target their space station. Destroy it immediately. Yes, Marshal. Jack and Lisa finally reached the service entrance to the mountain facility. They unloaded the generator, now hot to the touch. Power levels are fluctuating, Lisa said. The rough ride damaged some components. Jack examined the device. I can bypass the damaged section, but it'll reduce our output by 20%. No choice, Lisa said. Do it. As Jack worked, Lisa established communications with headquarters. Montana, this is Team 3. We've reached the Denver facility, but our generator is damaged, operating at reduced capacity. Sam's voice came through. Copy that. Better than nothing. Get it online fast. The mothership is making a move. Jack connected the final wires. That's it. Ready to power up on your command. In Montana, Allison watched as 3 of the 5 planned generators came online. It's not enough, she said. The field will be too weak with just 3 generators and 1 at reduced power. What if we redirect the resonance? Peter suggested. Instead of trying to create a full field, we focus all the energy on a single point. The mothership, Sam realized. Hit them at their center of command. Allison ran the calculations. It could work, but the effect would be unpredictable, and we'd need precise timing. Sam made the decision. It's our only shot. Alert all teams. We're redirecting to target the mothership directly. The order went out. In Chicago, San Francisco, and Denver, the teams recalibrated their generators. On the space station, Kevin made the necessary adjustments. Ready on your command, Kevin reported. Sam looked at Allison. Doctor, it's your theory. Your call. Allison took a deep breath. On my mark. 3, 2. The entire bunker shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. What was that? Sam demanded. A technician looked up from his console. They've found us, Draconian forces directly above the bunker. Another explosion rocked the facility. Power flickered. We're out of time, Allison said. She pressed the button. All teams activate now. Across America, the quantum generators powered up simultaneously. In Chicago, San Francisco, and Denver, the devices hummed with energy. On the space station, Kevin activated the main array. The effect was not immediately visible. Jack and Lisa watched their readings spike but saw no change outside. In space, Kevin and Colonel Miller felt the station vibrate slightly as the quantum field formed. On the Draconian mothership, Vexthor was the first to notice something wrong. The ship's lighting flickered. Control panels began to display error messages. What's happening? He demanded. Unknown, Marshal, his officer replied. We're detecting an energy field surrounding the ship. It's interfering with our systems. Vexthor slammed his clawed hand on the console. Impossible. These primitives don't have technology that could affect our ships, but the evidence was undeniable. Throughout the mothership, systems began failing. The quantum field generated by the humans resonated at exactly the frequency to disrupt Draconian technology. All ships, withdraw immediately, Vexthor ordered. Initiate emergency jump protocols. Across Earth, Draconian ships began powering up their jump drives, attempting to escape the spreading quantum field. Some succeeded, vanishing in flashes of light. Others failed, their engines overloading in spectacular explosions. The mothership itself began to glow with an eerie blue light. Its massive jump drive strained against the quantum interference. In Montana, Allison and the others watched their readings with a mixture of hope and fear. It's working, Peter said. Their systems are failing. But the readings are becoming unstable, Allison noted with growing concern. The interaction between their jump drives and our field is creating something new, something we didn't predict. The monitors showed energy levels far beyond their calculations. The quantum field was expanding, growing stronger instead of weaker. What's happening? Sam asked. Allison stared at the readings in disbelief. I think we just created a quantum cascade, and I have no idea what happens next. Blue light filled the sky above every major city where the Draconian ships hovered. The light pulsed and spread like ripples in a pond, connecting between ships in strange patterns. People stopped running to stare upward at the unearthly display. On the International Space Station, Kevin gripped a handrail as the entire structure vibrated. Through the window, he could see the massive Draconian mothership glowing brightly, surrounded by a web of blue energy. The readings are off the charts, Colonel Miller said, checking the instruments. Whatever's happening, it's beyond anything we predicted. Montana, are you seeing this? Kevin radioed. In the underground bunker, Allison and Peter watched their monitors with growing concern. The quantum field had become self-sustaining, growing stronger rather than dissipating. The field is feeding on the energy from their jump drives, Allison explained. It's creating a cascading effect. Each ship that tries to jump is making the field stronger. Is that good or bad? Sam asked. I don't know, Allison admitted. This is completely new territory. The interaction between their technology and our quantum pulses is creating something I don't understand. The bunker shook again as Draconian forces continued their attack above. We need to evacuate, Sam decided. This facility won't hold much longer. Peter pointed to his screen. Look at the mothership's power readings. Its core is becoming unstable. If it explodes in orbit, the debris alone could devastate half the planet, Allison finished. Sam grabbed the radio. All teams report status. Chicago still online, came the reply. The Draconian ships above us are glowing like Christmas trees. Some are vanishing. San Francisco reporting. Same here. The smaller ships are disappearing. Not exploding, just gone. Jack's voice crackled through. Denver confirms, the ships are vanishing. But our generator is overheating. We can't maintain power much longer. Sam looked to Allison. What's happening to the ships? I think, Allison began, then stopped, her eyes widening at the readings. The quantum resonance isn't just disrupting their systems. It's affecting the fabric of space-time around their ships. They're not just jumping away, they're being pushed into another dimension entirely. You're saying we accidentally created a weapon that sends alien ships to another dimension? Sam asked incredulously. Not exactly another dimension, Peter corrected. More like a parallel quantum state, but yes, that's the basic idea. The lights in the bunker flickered again as another explosion hit above. We need to stop the mothership from exploding, Allison said urgently. If we can modulate the field, we might be able to push it into the parallel state before its core destabilizes completely. How do we do that? Sam asked. The space station has the strongest generator. They need to adjust their frequency to match the mothership's core resonance exactly. Sam grabbed the radio. Kevin, we need you to retune your generator. Dr. Bennett is sending new settings now. High Marshal Vexthor watched in horror as his fleet disappeared ship by ship. This was impossible. Unthinkable. These humans were primitive. How could they possess technology capable of this? Marshal, our jump drive is failing, his second-in-command reported. Core stability at 30% and falling. Divert all power to shields, Vexthor ordered. Prepare escape pods. The field is affecting the escape pods as well. None have successfully launched. Vexthor's scales darkened with rage and fear. For the first time in his long military career, he faced defeat, and not just defeat but annihilation. Send a final transmission to the Imperial fleet, he commanded. Warn them about Earth. Tell them what happened here. Tell them, the command. Deck lights failed completely, replaced by the pulsing blue glow that now permeated the entire ship. Marshal, his officer said quietly, I believe we are about to vanish like the others. Vexthor straightened his posture. If this was the end, he would meet it with dignity. It seems we greatly underestimated these humans. Kevin worked frantically to recalibrate the space station's generator. Outside, the mothership's glow had intensified to nearly blinding levels. Adjustments complete, he reported. New frequency. Engaged. The effect was immediate. The blue web of energy around the mothership seemed to contract, wrapping tighter around the massive vessel. The ship's outline became blurry, as though viewed through water. It's working, Colonel Miller observed. The energy signature is stabilizing. Kevin nodded. Their core readings are leveling off. I think we're preventing the explosion. Below, them smaller Draconian ships continued to vanish all around the world. Some tried to flee, accelerating away from Earth, but the quantum field had spread too far. One by one, they disappeared from reality. Montana, this is ISS, Kevin reported. The mothership is beginning to phase out. No signs of catastrophic failure. In Denver, Jack and Lisa watched their generator as warning lights flashed across its control panel. It's going to blow, Jack warned. We need to get out of here. Lisa nodded, gathering their essential equipment. The other generators should be enough now. The cascade is self-sustaining. They ran for the exit as their generator began to smoke. Behind them, it exploded with a shower of sparks. But by then, the quantum field no longer needed it. The process had taken on a life of its own. Outside, they emerged to an incredible sight. The Draconian ships above Denver were fading from view, becoming transparent like ghosts before vanishing completely. The scout ship that had pursued them earlier hovered nearby, its outline blurring as the quantum field took hold. It's beautiful in a way, Lisa said softly. Jack nodded. Hard to believe we actually did it. In Montana, the attacks on the bunker suddenly stopped. The monitors showed Draconian forces withdrawing worldwide as the remaining ships struggled against the quantum effect. It's working everywhere, Peter reported. 87% of the Draconian fleet has vanished. The rest are following quickly. Sam allowed herself a small smile. We did it, not without cost, Allison reminded her, thinking of the lost teams and countless civilians killed in the initial attacks. The main screen showed the mothership, now almost completely transparent. In another moment, it vanished entirely, not with a dramatic explosion, but simply ceasing to exist in their reality. A cheer went up around the bunker. People hugged and cried with relief. Sam put a hand on Allison's shoulder. Your theory saved the world, Doctor. Allison shook her head. It was all of us. And we got lucky. The interaction between our technology and theirs created something we never could have designed intentionally. Sometimes that's how the greatest discoveries happen, Peter said. Sam's radio crackled again. Major Collins, this is Commander Russell. The President is asking for a status report. The Draconian ships have vanished from our radar. Is this your doing? Sam smiled as she picked up the radio. Affirmative, Commander. The threat has been neutralized. She paused. But I'm not sure vanished is entirely accurate. I think relocated might be better. Relocated where exactly? Commander Russell asked. Sam looked at Allison, who shrugged. That's a question for the scientists, sir. But wherever they are, I don't think they'll be bothering us again anytime soon. Outside the bunker, the sky had returned to its normal blue. No massive ships blocked the sun. No weapons fired. The sudden silence was almost as startling as the invasion had been. Humanity had survived. And in doing so, had demonstrated a level of ingenuity and power that would send ripples across the galaxy. 3 months passed since the day the Draconian fleet vanished. The world had changed forever. In what was now called the Montana Research Center, formerly the underground bunker, Allison Bennett studied the readings from that day for the 100th time. Still trying to figure it out? Peter asked, bringing her a cup of coffee. The more I understand it, the better we can use it, she replied. The quantum resonance effect shouldn't have been self-sustaining. Something about their technology amplified it beyond anything we predicted. The facility had grown. What was once a small research team was now a major operation with hundreds of scientists. The world's governments had united in an unprecedented way after the invasion, pooling resources and knowledge. Dr. Bennett? A young assistant approached. They're ready for you in the examination room. Allison nodded and followed the assistant down a corridor. In a secure room behind thick glass sat one of the few Draconian survivors, a junior officer whose scout ship had crashed before the quantum field could affect it. Good morning, Krell, Allison said into the intercom. The reptilian being looked up. After weeks of work, they had established basic communication. Dr. Bennett, Krell responded in rough English. More questions today? Just a few, she assured him. You mentioned before that your ships use quantum entanglement. Can you explain how that works? Krell tilted his head. Our engineers understand, not soldiers, but all ships connected to mothership. All motherships connected to homeworld. Instant communication across stars. And these connections, they're permanent? Always active? Yes. Is how hegemony controls galaxy. All ships always connected. Allison tried to hide her excitement at this confirmation. Thank you, Krell. That's very helpful. Outside the room, Peter waited for her. So? It's as we suspected. Their entire fleet is quantum entangled. When our resonance field disrupted that entanglement, it didn't just affect the ships here, it sent ripples through their entire network. Peter's eyes widened. You mean, we might have affected Draconian ships across the entire galaxy, Allison finished, not just the invasion fleet. In what had once been a high school gymnasium in Houston, Jack Powell helped distribute supplies to families displaced by the brief but destructive invasion. Lisa Martinez worked beside him, her arm now healed. Jack, she called, pointing to a television mounted on the wall. Look, the news showed a press conference at the White House. Commander Eric Russell, now promoted to admiral, stood at a podium beside Major Samantha Collins and several government officials. Today marks a new chapter in human history, the president was saying. Admiral Russell will lead the newly formed Earth Defense Initiative, coordinating our global security efforts and overseeing the integration of recovered alien technology. Jack wiped his hands on a rag. Looks like Sam got a promotion too. The camera panned to show Sam in a new uniform with additional insignia. The president continued. Major Collins, soon to be Colonel Collins, will head our first diplomatic team. As we have now confirmed the existence of other intelligent species in our galaxy, it is essential that Earth establish peaceful contact where possible. Lisa smiled. Diplomatic team. Never thought I'd see the day. Jack nodded. Who better than someone who already saved the world once? A young boy approached them, holding a toy spacecraft clearly modeled after a Draconian scout ship. Are you really the ones who made the aliens disappear? Jack crouched down to the boy's level. It was a big team effort, a lot of brave people working together. Where did they go? The boy asked. The aliens? Jack glanced at Lisa. How do you explain quantum physics to a child? They went somewhere else, Lisa said simply. Somewhere they can't hurt anyone anymore. The boy seemed satisfied with this answer and ran off to play. Jack stood up with a sigh. Sometimes I wonder if we'll ever know for sure what happened to them. In orbit around Earth, the International Space Station had been expanded with sections of salvaged Draconian technology. Kevin Wright floated in the new observation dome, looking down at the planet below. Colonel Diane Miller joined him, maneuvering carefully in the zero gravity. Quite a view, isn't it? Never gets old, Kevin. Agreed. The new drive system is ready for testing, she informed him. If it works, we could reach Mars in days instead of months. Kevin nodded. And if the quantum entanglement communicator works, we'll stay in instant contact the whole time. Not bad for technology we barely understand, Miller said. We're learning. Fast. Dr. Bennett's team has made incredible progress. Below them, a new ship rose from Earth, humanity's first vessel built with reverse-engineered alien technology. It moved with a grace that no previous human spacecraft had possessed. There she goes, Miller said. The Explorer, first of many. Kevin smiled. The beginning of a new era, in a distant part of the galaxy, on a planet that served as the capital of the vast hegemony. Chaos reigned. The council chamber was filled with representatives from dozens of species, all shouting to be heard. The entire 7th Fleet gone, bellowed a massive entity with 4 arms. 86 warships vanished without a trace. Not just the 7th, added another counselor. Reports are coming in from across the hegemony. Hundreds of ships lost, communications networks failing. The Supreme Chancellor, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin, raised her hands for silence. What do we know about this world? This Earth? A holographic display activated, showing images of humans going about their daily lives, unaware they were being observed. They appear primitive, one analyst reported. Their technology is centuries behind ours, or so we thought. Yet they somehow created a quantum weapon that affects ships across vast distances. We've never seen anything like it. Could they be a lost colony of the ancients? Someone suggested. Impossible, the Chancellor said. The ancients vanished aeons ago. These are something new. The council chamber fell silent as they studied the images of humans. What do we do about them? A counselor finally asked. The Chancellor stared at the hologram. For now, we watch, we learn, and we stay very, very far away. Back in Montana, Allison stepped outside the research center to get some fresh air. The night sky was clear, stars twinkling above the mountains. Somewhere up there, other civilizations were reacting to what Earth had done. Peter joined her. Admiral Russell called. They're ready to test the prototype resonance drive tomorrow. Allison nodded. It's happening so fast. 3 months ago, we didn't even know aliens existed. Now we're building ships to travel among the stars. Are you worried? Peter asked. About what we might find out there? A little. Krell says the Draconians were just one species in a vast alliance called the Hegemony. We may have made some powerful enemies. Or scared them away, Peter suggested. We did make their fleet vanish. Allison smiled slightly. True. And next time, we'll be better prepared. They stood in silence, watching the stars. Humanity had survived its first contact with alien life, not through superior firepower or technology, but through innovation and desperation. The quantum resonance effect, now being called the Bennett field in scientific circles, had changed everything. Whatever came next, Earth would face it as a united species, reaching for the stars with newfound confidence. The galaxy had reeled, once when the Draconian fleet vanished. Soon it would reel again as humanity took its first steps into the cosmic community. No longer isolated, no longer ignorant, and no longer helpless. Ready to go back inside? Peter asked after a while. Allison took one last look at the starry sky. Yes, she said. We have work to do.